Let me show you this little trick for the Navigatrix Clue 1 cast on. You're going to end up using this a few times, so pay attention. One thing I didn't do in this video is show you how to do a provisional cast on with scrap yarn. I already have that on my needles. I have a separate video and blog post about that that's linked in the pattern. Definitely watch that if you haven't worked a provisional cast on in a while. I didn't want to put it all into one video because it would make a really long video, and some of you might already know how to do that and be confident with it. It's certainly something I use a lot in my mystery knit-alongs. So I'm all set. You are crochet casting on 93 stitches onto your needle. I've got less than that just to show you what we're doing so you don't have to like watch me knit boringly across my needle. Try to keep these videos kind of down to a modicum of excitement. So the first thing I'm going to do is you're going to knit 40 and then purl 2 and place a marker. I'm just going to knit 10 here just so you know what I'm doing that's different. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to try and move the cord. I think it's making a weird noise. So we've got 10 stitches there. And now I'm going to purl 2. And then I'm going to place a marker. I've got some laying right there, ready to go. And now, here is where things are going to get fun. Drop the next 9 stitches. Pay attention to your pattern, because it might not always be 9, but I know that in Clue 1 it is 9, okay? So I dropped those off my needle, and now turn your work and cable cast on 9 stitches. So I'm going to go in between these 2 stitches, your markers right there, wrap the yarn around, bring it through. This first stitch, make it pretty tight, like tighter than you would typically make a stitch. That's going to help you have a tidy join right there, okay? So tighten up, and now I need to get 8 more on there, and I've only done 1. That is 2. I'm working these a tiny bit tighter than I normally would, but not too tight, especially those first 1 or 2. 3. Maybe did that a little too tight. I'm splitting my own yarn. 4. So continue on like that till you have 9. Okay, so now I have 9 stitches cable cast on right there. And I'm going to go grab another marker and place that, and then I'm going to turn my work again, and then I'm going to purl 2 and knit to the end. When you go to purl 2 right here, again, work this really tight, like almost as tight as you can for those first 2 purl stitches. That's going to help with any extra little yarn that you have right there to tighten it up, and now knit 10 to the end. Now, when you are done with this row, I highly, highly, highly suggest, so that means I really, really, really want you to place a lifeline through all of these stitches before you continue on with the setup rows for the ray. The reason that you're going to do that is if you place a lifeline all the way across all of those stitches, then when you go to rip out your provisional cast on, your scrap yarn cast on, that lifeline will catch all of the stitches on your needles, and you won't have that like sinking feeling in your stomach that you miss some stitches. So go ahead and place a lifeline right now with just a smooth, lightweight piece of thread or dental floss. I really like to use buttonhole thread. I do have a whole blog post about how to place lifelines and work with them. So if you haven't placed a lifeline before, I've linked to that blog post. Go read that, learn about lifelines, place a lifeline, continue on with your ray. What's going to be happening with your ray is that you have a right side, a left side, and then a center panel right here where you have stitches, decorative stitches working up in a center panel. The way the ray is created is with decreases on each side of that center panel that basically like fold all of these stitches in on themselves. If you've ever knit a mitered square before, this is similar but different. They're really fun to knit. I find them to be quite addictive, and I think you're going to be surprised how quickly the rays come off your needles as you start to work them. You're not going to want to be done with the two that you're doing in this clue, hopefully. Have a really good time. Ask questions. I am so excited to see you guys all be Navigatrixes, if that's a word. See you in the forums.